A few months after my wife passed away, I found something in her closet that completely changed the way I remember our entire marriage. It was a small wooden box filled with letters. Letters my wife had written to me for more than 30 years, but never gave to me. When I started reading them, I realized something painful about our life together. Something I wish I had understood 40 years earlier. My wife Margaret passed away last winter. We spent more than 40 years together. At least, that is what I always told people. For many years, I told everyone the same thing. That we had a beautiful marriage. That we were always happy together. And maybe part of that was true. We had a house, we had a family, and we had a life that looked perfect from the outside. But the truth is, I was always busy, working late, coming home tired almost every single evening. My wife always waited for me. The dinner was ready, the house was quiet, and she always smiled when I walked through the door. I'm tired tonight. Maybe tomorrow. We will talk tomorrow. That is what I said again and again. And tomorrow always came, but somehow I was always busy again. Another long day, another excuse. Years passed like that, quietly, without me really noticing how fast our life was moving. And then last winter, everything changed. My wife got sick, and suddenly the house became very quiet. After the funeral, I stayed alone in the house. The silence felt heavier than anything I had ever felt before. So one evening I decided to go through her things. Closets, old drawers, boxes we had not opened for years. So one evening I decided to go through her things. Closets, old drawers, boxes we had not opened for years. I was not looking for anything important, just memories, photographs, small reminders of our life together. I was not looking for anything important, just memories, photographs, small reminders of our life together. Then I found something strange. A small wooden box, hidden deep in the back of her closet. At first I thought it was just another box of memories. But when I opened it, I realized it was something very different. Inside the box there were dozens of envelopes, all of them carefully stacked, and every single one had my name on it. At first, I didn't understand what those letters were. Why would my wife write letters to me and never give them to me? My hands were shaking when I opened the first envelope. The paper was old. The handwriting was hers. At the top of the letter, she wrote two simple words, "Dear Richard." Seeing my name written like that felt strangely emotional. The letter was dated many years ago. 1987. I tried to remember that year of our life together. She wrote that I came home late again that night. She said I looked tired, so she decided not to bother me. But then she wrote something that stopped my breath. She said he wished we could sit together, even for just a few minutes. I sat there staring at that sentence for a long time, because I honestly did not remember that evening. For me, it was probably just another work day. Another long shift, another night when I came home too tired. But for her, that evening clearly meant something important. Important enough to write about. So I opened another letter, then another one, and suddenly hours passed while I kept reading. Each letter came from a different year, different moments of our life, different memories I had completely forgotten. Some letters were about simple evenings, dinner together, watching television, small moments I never noticed. But in many of those letters, she wrote about loneliness, a quiet loneliness that lived inside our house. One letter said our son asked a question. Why is Dad always working? Why is he never home? Reading those words felt like someone pressing on my chest, because I suddenly realized how much I had missed. But the strange thing was, she never sounded angry in those letters, only sad. It was like she was writing thoughts she never wanted it to say out loud, thoughts she quietly carried for many years. without asking for anything. And suddenly I realized something painful. My wife had been writing these letters for decades. Dozens of moments when she felt invisible. Moments I never noticed. I kept reading those letters one after another. Each one felt like opening a memory I had somehow forgotten completely. Some letters were short, just a few sentences, but every single one carried the same quiet feeling. She missed me, even when I was living in the same house with her. That realization was harder than anything I expected, because I thought I had been a good husband. I worked hard. I paid the bills. I believed that was enough. But those letters showed me something different, something I never allowed myself to see before. Love is not only about working hard. Sometimes it is simply about being present, sitting together, listening, sharing a few quiet moments at the end of the day. And suddenly I reached the final envelope, the last letter she ever wrote. The date on that letter, only 2 weeks before she passed away. My hands were shaking when I opened it. The letter started the same way as all the others. Dear Richard, if you ever read this letter one day, it probably means I am no longer there with you. But I want you to know something very important. I loved you through every single year of our life together. Even during the evenings when you came home tired and sat down without saying much, I'll always hope that maybe tonight we would talk a little longer. Even during long years when work was always more important than quiet time together, I still believed that one day life would slow down. I believed that one day we'd finally sit together in the evening without rushing anywhere, just talking about life the way we used to many years ago. But sometimes life does not slow down the way we expect. Sometimes it simply passes, and suddenly the quiet house reminds you how fast everything disappeared. Now I sit here in the same living room where we spent so many evenings, and I keep thinking about all the moments I could have shared with her. So if someone is waiting you at home tonight, sit beside them for a few minutes, because one day those small moments will be the memories you wish you had more of.